Hey, today I decided I should preserve some of our rice for storage long term. We bought a big, huge 25-pound bag, I think from Costco, and I don't want it to get bugs in it and I want it to last a long time. So I stuck it in my freezer, the whole thing. I have a chest freezer, not a very big one, and I had some space. So I just stuck the whole thing in the freezer for several days. That will kill all the bugs and the eggs that might have been in there. It happens. Most of our rice and other grains that we get, especially if it's in bulk, is going to have, at the very least, probably some eggs that may be viable and can hatch. If you've ever had pantry bugs that coming out of either your cereals or your grains, anything like that, that's where they're coming from. So one of the ways you can do that, help fix that, is to freeze any new grains, especially like rice and other types of grains, for several days. Another thing you can do is store them in airtight containers that don't have any oxygen in them, like with an oxygen remover. For this, I've had them in the freezer for several days, and now I'm going to put them into mason jars. These are half-gallon mason jars, and then I'm going to use my food saver to suck all the air out of it. At the same time, just to be extra doubly sure, and I don't know how a bug could possibly get past this, but if, for instance, if a seal came loose and a bug was able to get in between it and the jar, I'm also adding some bay leaves to each jar. Bugs don't like bay leaves, and that can help repel them. So I've already done several jars. They haven't been sealed yet. I've just filled them up. As I'm filling them, I'm kind of shaking them a little bit to kind of make it settle down and fit as much in there. For this 25-pound bag, I've done 4 jars already, and I think I'm probably going to get maybe 3 more, maybe 3 more. I've got 2 ready. I may just keep the other bit for day-to-day use as we, for this week, but I'm at least going to store 6 half-gallons here. So it's a real simple process. Here's the first step. So as it turned out, I needed 1 more jar. Problem is, I only had washed and sterilized 6 jars. I needed 7. So, lesson for the future, a 25-pound bag of white rice needs 7 half-gallon jars, most likely, to store them if I want to do it that way. It's important that you sterilize your jars and that they're completely dry before you put any rice in them, because the tiniest little bit of moisture in there can cause rot, and you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. It would be just such a shame to think you have a can of preserved or dry stored rice and then go to get it and have there be mildew or mold, some kind of rot in there. That would just be so frustrating. Anyway, I have prepared another jar. It is sterilized and completely dry. Oh, how do I do that? Well, I wash them thoroughly, hot water, soap, get them completely rinsed. And then to make sure they're completely dry, I put them in the oven upside down on the lowest heat in my oven, which for my oven is 170 degrees. If your oven has a warm setting, you could use that. And I let it sit in there, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, and then turn the heat off and let them cool down. By that time, there's no moisture at all left in them, and that's what you want. You know, completely dry and sterilized. Okay, I've got my food saver out. Y'all, if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. It is so useful. You can vacuum seal mason jars with this attachment. You can get the plastic bags and vacuum seal it for like the freezer. There's also Mylar bags you can use with this. Sucks all the air out of it, makes things last so much longer. Super helpful, super great for storing stuff. To do the mason jars, we don't need these rims because it's going to seal by itself. Really, the only reason you use these rims is when you're actually canning it, like in a pressure canner or a boiler, a water bath canning, to keep the lid on until it's ready to start sealing. But in this case, we're going to use a pump to suck all the air out of it, and when it's done, it's going to be sealed. So we don't really need this. I suppose you could add it on afterwards if you want it to be like double secure, but really, if it's not working like this, you know, probably need to check something. Anyway, really easy. I just hook up the hose here, and I make sure my lid is centered, and I'm going to put the attachment all the way over till it nestles down right on top of the lid there. And then with this particular model of Food Saver, different models are different, and there's a few other brands too. This is the V850. You just press down on the top with both. I wish it was just a simple button, but you just press down on the top and let it do its thing. So let me see if I can make this. It's gonna make a loud noise. All right, takes a little bit of time. I don't know, that was probably 30 to 45 seconds. When it's done, it shuts off by itself. I can release this. The light has turned off, and carefully remove the attachment. How do I know if it's sealed? Well, the center of the jar should be sucked down. It shouldn't be. I don't know if you can see this. This one hasn't been done yet. You see how it's kind of got a little bit of a bump right here, kind of an inverse dimple? And you can definitely hear it if I push it up and down, a little pop, pop, pop sound. This one has no little bump here, and there's no movement. The other check I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lift it by the lid, and it shouldn't pop up easily. I suppose if this is heavy enough, it might actually break the seal, but yeah, it don't want to come off. This is done. So all the air has been sucked out of here. This is going to sit in a shelf, especially if it's in a dark place. This is going to last for years if we need it to. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and we'll have our rice storage done. All right, that was the last one. So I timed it. It took an uneven amount of time. Each one was a little bit different. I'm guessing it had to do with quite how full I made it and how settled they were. They ranged anywhere from like 45 seconds to like a minute and 10 or 15 seconds to get all the air out of it. But they're out. They're all sealed. Got 7 jars. So 25 pounds divided by 7. What is that? That's like 3 point something pounds per jar of rice. This would keep us, my family, we would probably eat, this would be, each one of these would probably be maybe 2 to 3 meals, I'm guessing. So 7, you know, this could last for a couple weeks maybe. So it's useful. I hope we never have an emergency reason to need it, but if we do, it's ready. So pretty simple process. It just takes a little bit of time and planning, but I mean, not very much time at all, really. You're talking like a minute per jar for the vacuuming and 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get them washed and dried. Maybe an hour altogether with letting it dry completely. And rice was in the freezer for a few days, so, you know, just timing. Super easy. You want to set something aside? I don't know if you can hear our chickens back there. They're singing to us right now. I think that's Pepper. Always likes to sing. Hi, Pepper. She looked up at me. Anyway, real simple. Encourage you to try it. It's good to have some stuff set aside for an emergency. Hi. Yes, I hear you. So thanks for watching. Not sure if this is going to be the whole video, but Tanya will tell us later if this was the whole thing. But I'm always supposed to do an outro, so make sure you click the subscribe button, watch the whole thing, comment, like it, share it with your friends, click the little bell button to get notifications, and let us know what you think. Thanks.